Looks like we're green lit and live. I don't know. I can't see. John
Let me see.
Cena myself right here, man. No bullshit from Twitch where they're updating the interface and they wanted me to click on it for a tour, and now if I don't upload a cock-sucking video thing, it won't let me go back to our own Twitch. So just more great technology with zero frustration and making everything easier for everybody. I rolled over this morning. I said, who the fuck is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold out my eyes. See who's this paging me and why. It's my infidel pop from the barbershop. He was in the intricate plot. I heard the gambling spot. I flipped it. Of infidels want to stick me like fly paper, neighbor. Yo, Stevie, chill, drop the caper. It's the Friday locker room, man. It's early, no coffee. Twitch is acting a fool. Maybe not. Here we are. See, I'm back live.
I know the source I used a scraper. There you
go. We're going all digital. He doesn't need paper. It's Big Stevie Cool Hacker Hamin with the scraper. We're back, guys. Friday locker room. Try and get my energy up here. I just woke up. Wake up. No coffee yet. Haven't hit the Russo, bro. So we'll make it through these headlines. Or maybe I'll just die before the end of it, which wouldn't be that bad of a thing because I've seen some of these headlines. So, Oscar's joint first to the chat room at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Stevie, I took a little melatonin last night. NyQuil knocked out the night before. So that's probably why I'm groggy. But I did get some sleep. How you doing with, you did the suction gimmick this morning? You already been sucked up already? Sucked off?
Yeah. I had a couple of those truly hard lemonade seltzers that might have had me sleeping wrong without realizing it. I don't like that feeling. I mean, I liked it like initially, but
how was the bathroom floor? Was it comfortable or no?
No, it wasn't. No, I wasn't that bad. When I get drunk or I get buzzed, I'm the same exact. As you can tell, I'm the same. Yeah. I might mispronounce some words, but
that's the same.
Not on Russo level, but I still mispronounce some words, and I get a little more. I was getting a little more like this is like Alex Jones, just a little bit. Right. It was great having Brent Logan and Lisa Torch on last night and checking in all around the world.
Yeah, man, it's insane. Brent Logan checking in already again this morning in the chat room here. Ex Butcher from Louisville, XR Butcher. That's Garback Sedge from Louisville. I'm not sure where Ex Butcher's from. And Mark BT. I see you guys this morning. But yeah, it was fun, man. That's the beauty. Even though we get pissed off because things stall out or whatever here and there, like. To have Australia, Tennessee, Atlanta, and New York on all at the same time, a six-way, it was pretty crazy, man. So I was glad to do that show, and we're all just kind of in limbo here, locked away. Nobody's out living life like, oh, what's going on with you? Well, I went upstairs. Good for you. Right? So we're all just trying to relate and put things forward. But wrestling still continues on. Impact were the only ones with a crowd this week. It was interesting. There's some Impact news down the road, but we maybe we'll do a little more hard research this week and do a more of escapism conspiracy horseman next week, unless the shit really hits the fan and they need us. But I think that's what people need now more than just keep talking about it.
I think maybe checking in with Tim Alberino too, just to check in from where he's at in Montana, but also he kind of predicted this in a way, and he's kind of a voice of reason, saying it may not be as easy as people are hoping, but it also might not be as bad as people are fearing.
Right. And he put it down on Chinese and their little lungs, but it seems apparently that we all have little Chinese lungs.
I think pollution. I think environment. I think GMO food. I think there's a whole lot of aspects that we're older. We're both kind of like past the generation of people. Like we remember when libraries didn't have computers, when you had to go to a library to write a term paper or an essay, things like that. I think we have a predisposed immunity to maybe not this, because as you get older, flus and viruses, you're more susceptible. But I'm talking about think about the effects of certain things that the newer generation of people really concentrate on. And I think the word is probably perspective. Maybe not so much physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual,
Sure.
whatever way you want to call it. We go, yeah, we remember when. We don't need to have the phone or Facebook or any of this, because remember we used to actually go out and play until it was dark and our parents would call us home. And they were born.
Yeah. The last 20 years has been, a matrix. Like, they've had constant entertainment. They've had internet from the jump. Our technology has become crazy good, but like, they've always had some form of it that way. We, from 70s to 90s, is a far bigger 2-decade leap in like advancement of music, advancement of technology, of entertainment, of delivery systems, from the CD from record to tape to CD, from movie that you had to go buy or watch at the theater to watch it at home on VHS to DVD quality, Laserdisc to DVD, and now all digital everything on thumb drives where you're just getting digital content. There is no delivery method. Like, that's a way bigger leap in technology than what they've done in the last 20 years and from where they were to where they went, Well,
I want to give you like an example of that one thing that you and I probably aren't freaking out about, but I'm sure the most of the world is freaking out about, because we're old enough to remember. I'm at least being a tech geek and stuff, when I would order unlocked phones from Europe, because it was a big deal to pay $500, $600 for an unlocked phone you couldn't get over here. Right. And it would take 2 to 3 weeks. Remember the old infomercials of 6 to 8 weeks plus shipping and handling? And we'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. People are freaking out because if they do an Amazon Prime order today, it's not going to be here until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because Prime 1 day, Prime 1 hour. And the people are like, they're making official statements from Amazon, like, we're trying to get Prime 1 hour in 1 day. And like, I made an appointment on Prime Now and they said between 12 to 2 and it came between 6 and 8. It's like, okay, everybody just fucking relax for a second.
Yeah. Right? Did you ever cut out like UPC labels from like G.I. Joe or whatever toy and
Absolutely.
and send it away, and it would take 6 to 8 weeks to fucking send, and they'd send you just a little wrapped like blank, cardboard package. You wouldn't know what was coming or anything like that. It wasn't a big delivery, and it was always just through the mail. No third party big gimmick like that, dude. Like, kids will never know. They'll never know what it was like to wait, especially in that last 2-week window when it's 6 to 8 weeks and you're checking every day. You forget about it, but you haven't forgotten. Like, dude, the lifestyle is just completely different.
Well, in the checking, just to give people a little more perspective too, when we checked as kids, like we checked the mailbox.
Yeah.
It wasn't a point of anger that it wasn't there. It was like the waking up of every morning or afternoon or seeing the mailman was like Christmas morning and hoping and expecting. And if it wasn't, there's tomorrow. I'll go out and play, because if I play and tire myself out, I can sleep and be 1 day closer to getting it. It's a completely different look of just losing your mind and sitting there going, waiting. We would occupy ourselves in different ways. I sent you that channel yesterday that I just been fascinated with. We have the My Self-Reliance channel, which you were subscribed before my wife and I found it. But the Depression era, I think it's called Depression era cooking or something like that. And this old lady who was a child through the Great Depression is just giving even more perspective to me as I watch like how they would just like, well, we couldn't make cookies. Sunday was a special event where we would make cookies. We would sit around. We do the homemade coffee. There's an absolute charm to stuff like that. That's why, like, coming around 180, like I have a 2014 iMac, and every bit of me is tempted to get a new MacBook Pro or a new iMac Pro or whatever it is. But I'm leaning back and going, once this is done, I have to send it back to Apple to get fixed or whatever. It's got almost a 0 repairability score from iFixit. if I get a 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro, I can replace the SSD. I can take the batteries out and replace those because they're available as parts. I could literally replace every part in this if I need to. Everything else on the newer ones are soldered. There's a certain like empowerment with that. Oh, well, I have to wait an extra 2 minutes for a 20-minute video to export, and process. What I mean, my 2014, I'm going to do a video and I'm going to go a little bit on a tangent. I have a gaming recording and streaming devices from Elgato, and I owe them a review video. But the point or the premise of the video is going to be, I can stream and record video games on this iMac that's supposedly obsolete, according to Apple, from 2014. We're doing a show here. I added all my videos. I stream. Everything works just fine. What am I so, and I can open it up as, kind of hard they make it with the adhesive and everything. I can open it up, throw an SSD in it, dust it out, do whatever I need to do, seal it back up, and I have it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? Do I need a 1080p webcam from a $5,000 iMac Pro compared to a 720p?
This is 1080p. It cost me $39.99 at Walmart.
I have it right here with the C920. It's just, there's certain things, and I think on the positive note about like wrestling fans seem to be embracing the arena stuff and wanting to support the promotions. Is it a super false positive? Yes. I mean, this is a time where they need to be held accountable to retool the product, especially WWE, and take advantage of these uncertain times.
Yeah, it's definitely uncertain times.
But I heard from the fans, it's the inverse of what we're talking about now, with wrestling. That was a long tangent.
No, that's all good. There, finally my scroll bar came back up. Twitch was acting weird to me. Chat wouldn't let me scroll to see what the fuck was going on. Weird. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing our production week. I'll be back on live after we're done with this, not to shotgun this show, but with MSG and Chris Silvio to do AEW Light the Fuse. I got to go back and rewatch, really. I was so fucking brain dead at the end. I watched a little bit of the second hour, but that was about it. I know I sent you some stuff, but I can't even remember already. Something happened. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, guys, we're going to get to the headlines. Anything else, Stevie?
No, I just think now's the time, once again, as I say on every show, for everybody to take advantage of this negative and make it into a positive, and try to turn your passion maybe into some kind of money-making thing, or just use your passion to get better at a God-given skill that you have. Do whatever you can. That's what we're here to help with, too.
I agree. Bang Biscuit hit me up yesterday. He made a new sign, much like the ones he made for Steve Richards Fitness, the Horseman, and Ben Hamin with his wood carving skills and lathe and or CNC machine, and he made one for the New Force Order. So he's definitely putting his skills to work, his artistry. And also want to, before we get into it, say today's headlines from ProWrestling.com. Today's show sponsored by the waronmorons.podbean.com. That's right. Go over there and subscribe to them. Jay and Yanisa, they're taking on all the crazy stories that you guys love, all that World Star stuff, that Florida Man stuff, and talking about it in ribs, especially in this time. They're sponsoring us this month, so do Hamin Media solid. Follow them on whatever platform you're on. But the waronmorons.podbean.com. Tell them Hamin Media sent you. Also, if you guys things are getting low at the stores and you don't want to keep going out to deal with the Nancy Brown madness, just go to thebrosters.com and get that new Russo Bro coffee. Everyone's loving it, posting reviews. It's no bullshit. It's not just a sales pitch. It is the best coffee I've ever had. And I've got a bag upstairs I'm supposed to be giving away, and I'm about an hour away from tearing into it for myself. And I'll buy another one because I want some bad. What else we got going on, Stevie? Mention-wise, I feel like I'm missing one. But if not, I'll come back and get it on the back end, you guys. But appreciate it.
I think there's a rumor that WrestleMania is going to be 3 nights now.
Oh, is it 3 nights? Too big.
Well, why not? We thought it was a joke a month ago, and now here we are.
Too big for your britches, WrestleMania. And the pirate thing is weird. They keep going with the pirate thing, and who knows what the fuck is going to happen. But these are your wrestling headlines from ProWrestling.com. All right, kill that already. But
Very excited the way you read that. It didn't sound scripted at
no
all.
coffee in me, man. I'm trying to bring it up here. Fucking $5 myself a couple times. But I do see Not Jargo in the chat room this morning, along with all the Hamin loyalists. Want to say big shout out to Jargo for all the work that he's put in for Hamin Media Group. He's going to be taking off after WrestleMania off the platform. He'll be doing a live both nights. It'll be a good send off that way. Hopefully, I'll jump in and do some stuff with him. But I always want to say thank you for all the effort he's put in here to help build this brand, and always welcome back anytime. But actually, if they cancel WrestleMania, because he told me he was done after WrestleMania, and they push it to June or July, that means he has to stay. So
his last day is next Saturday.
A week from Saturday.
Saturday,
yeah.
every Saturday.
Every Saturday. It's ambiguous that he may or may not be leaving if they cancel WrestleMania or not, because that was the agreed upon terms. So
Jargo should be on the radio, or satellite terrestrial, or both. That's a guy right there that needs to be. They need to give him an opportunity to do that. I know as St. Louis had talked to us about the possibility of an NFL show. I know Jeff, your cousin, him and I had a really good time doing that. I think just everything went sideways with the coronavirus and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Everybody's, running around like a chicken with their head cut off until this fucking shit really settles and we can try and get back to doing business in some.
The funny part is that the production of this is every bit as good as that Fox Sports, as ESPN, as NFL Network. Everybody is just holed up in their home. Some people are just using their microphone on their laptop and a pair of earpods.
Yeah.
So we actually have a good the playing field is evened out right now.
Definitely evened out with home studios. We're ahead of the game for a lot of people. And then how do I do this? How do I get followers? I'm in a couple like promote your podcast groups, and there's just some people who are like, I got 8 listens this week. I'm like, yeah, good for them. They're making content, but I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and they want like all the tips and tricks and how to build an audience overnight. I'm like, yeah, you'll have a pod. That's why I said there's going to be so many podcasts. There's going to be 30% new podcasts, and as soon as this shit goes back to normal, they'll all be gone. It's just like, everyone wanting to jump in the pool.
Well, there's a question here, and then we're on the subject. What's the best way to make money online? Is it's going to be a necessity pretty soon, methinks, from Joshy. It is trash. Here's the deal. Nothing is overnight. I mean, if you get it overnight, if you go viral somehow, if you get a YouTube channel, it gets monetized instantly with 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 views or whatever it is, you're very lucky. Now's the time to do it because people are looking for YouTube stuff. My channel has gained like 2,000 something subscribers in the past month. So it's growing, which grows the AdSense. The thing is, it's got to be something you would do even if you weren't in these uncertain times. Something you like to do every day. Something you would do, and all you're doing now is hitting the record button, whether for video or audio. That's the point. This thing that we did actually happened by accident, and it culminated after decades of all of us getting shunned in locker rooms for discussing conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
Still continuing to get shunned for actually speaking the truth about wrestling. So like we're at a low point right now, and that curve's gonna come back up when the liars and the carnies get exposed for kicking the can down the road, much like with conspiracies. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're probably going to lose money before you make it, but you can't care about that. This isn't like in the next month I'm going to make some money. Now, if you want to go to school, like someone said, medical coding or some kind of online course where you can get certified and get right to work, medical coding would be, or medical billing is going to be a big business with everybody going into the hospital. Absolutely. And everything. So it's not super, super exciting, but if you need to get an online thing going so you can do your side deal until that starts to pick up, because that's what we're piecing together livings, doing 3, 4, 5 different things at once.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, I think business model wise, if you're talking work from home or you're talking digital and online, what's not going to have you have any overhead? My business deals in social media management. The commodity is my time, effort, brain power, marketing skills, in my client's physical product and their storefront, getting people through the door, enticing them with sales, enticing them with content daily, talking about global issues in a smart business marketing way to promote shop local. So that's my business outside that helps to draw in, like Stevie said, revenue streams, right? What are other models that can do that? Amazon, being an Amazon, having your own Amazon store and influencer, and then your own website if you're going to invest to sell certain products to a niche market that you're tapped into. What are you a nerd for? What do you know a lot about? What are you a professional on outside of maybe work or incorporated into your work? And what is a void that people need during this time that you can fill by maybe not having to spend any money and just getting the deal set up where it's ordered, drop shipped, and just runs through a middleman, which could be you. Or do you have other skills to offer and sell to people? Obviously, 3D printer for me, and I'm just trying to, again, another small revenue stream. Made these masks, right? Bang, bang, boom. They're not CDC approved and shit, but this is something I could possibly sell on Etsy, and you sell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and then boom, you're off to the races. And then it'll peak and slow down, and you find the next thing. So it's as big or as small as you want to go with it, like a craft table at the, Christmas bazaar type stuff, or do you want to do a whole storefront, a website, graphic, and start building stuff out? It's all about what's your model and start shaping it up.
I would encourage people to, and this is all up to people in Hamin Media Group and the people that are our followers here to listening and watching this. I started that, I call it Stevie Richards Helps. I was going to call it Stevie Helps, but you can email StevieRichardsHelps@gmail.com. And when I did for that Corey, the musician, and I went through a 25 minute thing, put it up on YouTube to take him through how he could stream live music, how he can monetize it. Mm-hmm. Is it perfect? Do I have it figured out? No, but I can hopefully help you circumnavigate to not make the mistakes that I've made over however many years. I always tell the story that, and I may tell it again and put it up on the main channel for fitness because more people will be able to watch that. The first year I did Stevie Richards Fitness after I left DDP Yoga, guess how many programs I sold? You know the number, Ben, but just to let people just think about that. A whole year went by after I left a full-time position to do this. I sold one program in a year. I had to adjust. I had my wife to tell me, you can't be everything to everybody. Why not be the resistance band guy? You really have done it throughout the years. You worked through injuries when you're traveling. You like the bands. They're affordable. Why not just do that? And I said, you're right. So I switched it around. I switched around what I was trying to do, created that 12-week program. In the second year, I may have sold maybe 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more. Then in the third year, Dr. Jonda came on and endorsed it and did all these other things and started to get testimonials. And now, still not a full-time business in year 3, year 4, mm-hmm. but these uncertain times have made it even more successful. I've been able to prosper mm-hmm. in a place, thank God, that other people I know are hurting. So I doubted it for so long because there was $97, $125 models, all these things, and I just stuck to my guns with a $15, $25, $5, $13, like where you can buy everything on my site for under $100, maybe even including the bands, depending upon what you get. These are things that they happen kind of by happenstance or serendipity, but more times than not, it's just, man, if I just wake up and keep trying, why not me? That was the thing I told my wife. That's the thing I tell you. I tell myself every day. Somebody's got to be the resistance band guy. Why not me? I tell my wife. Absolutely. Somebody's got to do brows. Why not you? We just closed our business down too. So is that a failure? No, because it didn't make sense to continue on. And now we're going to try another business. We're not going to just sit here and go, oh, well, I give up on life. Let me just sit behind my desk for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I know this is a wrestling show, but I know people out there are probably going to get more out of what we're talking about now. And it's something I want to do as a way to maybe be the guy that helps people use technology in a positive, prosperous way from home, and maybe help change the complete model of society, which might be forced to change anyway, because this virus has not peaked yet, and this might be a multi-year thing that everybody needs to work from underneath.
Sure. And there's other parts of this in motion. We're both having some better success in the last 2 years because, A, we grind every day, but because of partnerships and synergy. And if you're asking that, you're already a part of this universe. Like Rat Salad Review, I see in the chat room there, I said, unfortunately, I didn't like to see that their numbers are down because our numbers have been consistently up. And I'm not trying to say what's what on their marketing, but they advertised with us early on, and I think we helped build their following. We all came up together a little bit, and I'd like to see, and if you haven't followed Rat Salad Review, that's another great podcast that's Hamin Media Group affiliated, so help them get their numbers up, because now it's about, all right, your content's there, but shift in the marketing. Go find the audience. Like, numbers shouldn't be down. It's up to us to say, if we're stagnant, how do I find new pools of people to inject our product into? It's things like that, and the partnerships. I'm not trying to plug for advertising with Hamin Media. Maybe there's somebody else you want to advertise with that you want to rub up alongside. Maybe your business has nothing to do with what I'm doing, and it does on this esoteric inspirational talk outside of my purview. But think about who your partners are, who can help give you a shine, and who can put you that much farther ahead in the following. Because advertising with Hamin Media, if you're a digital producer or podcaster or whatever, or Broster's Coffee, Broster's is a husband and wife operation doing everything themselves. They and as much marketing as they can, but they're very CNY local. How do you get the world out to a global audience? Well, you need to partner with somebody, and they can't afford massive amounts, but a centralized great following that Stevie and I have built, that Russo has built. And now you guys know that when we ask for help in a brand that's sponsoring us, you're going to try it. And I'm not going to sell you some shit that I know is going to make us all look bad. Now they partnered with somebody local, Dippin' Donuts, who brought them to me because I'm their guy too. It comes to a bigger platform. Now people know the name, thebrosters.com, that wouldn't have known it outside of having it on a sticker or a Facebook page in central New York. And now people in Canada want it, Australia want it, and they can't get it because they're not shipping global yet. But we can get it to you if you really want to pay the piper. Triple D and I will fucking get it there. But see what I'm saying? This is the model, is all it is. And find out who the Broster's Coffee is that you can facilitate with, where your brand is going to shine alongside helping somebody else out, where you got to identify where the void is. And people have great vision and great product and all the intention in the world. And it's not because of just laziness or anything like that, but you got to see where their opportunity lies. And that's where your opportunity lies to bring your business up to the next level. So identify your partners. That's a big part of that too, that can help your synergy and get things going out of those early stumbling blocks. That's the hardest thing, to build a loyal following, because if somebody already has one and they say, hey, this is my bro, give them a hand, that following will come and help you out too. So who is that in your life? Y'all, I feel a little bit better now. You want to talk about passing the heat? This is a smart move, or else is it a respectful move? I kind of like it either way. Drew McIntyre believes Edge and Randy Orton should headline WrestleMania. WWE superstar Drew McIntyre recently spoke to Alex McCarthy at TalkSport about his upcoming match against Brock at 36, and as well as the difficulties facing the company as performers as they attempt to run the show from a closed set for the very first time. He says, I've seen Roman push the main event ahead of him and Goldberg. I respect Roman more than most people in the world. I won the Royal Rumble. I'm the main event. He laughs. He wanted to headline night 2, holding the championship above his head. But then he talks about Randy Orton, and Edge says they're such good storytellers, and storytelling, that's going to be a cinematic masterpiece watching their match. That's how it looks in my head. The way they work and the way their facials and their storytelling, I imagine their match will be more like watching a movie. Brock and I imagine it's more like a bar fight, very uncomfortable to watch, which I think will be cool to play down to the camera to everybody at home. We can be smart about it. So you got to think bigger picture. So how can we make this interesting for everybody watching at home? That's the way I see our match. So I'm going to go with Edge and Randy. Fuck, I don't like that answer.
Do you think that's telling the finish right there?
Yeah, that's business exposing bad, dude.
I'm not going over, so why should we shouldn't go last?
Well, I don't know about that. It could be I want my WrestleMania moment, and is empty arena
in June when we redo it.
Is empty arena WrestleMania, if it goes down, can I get out of being in the main and buy my time that possibly happens? Or are they going to be so burnt out on WrestleMania by night 2? Let those guys have it. I'll go night 1 the first night and do it that way, dude. You know, like,
it's very interesting that he didn't say the other title match should maybe go on last with Goldberg. So there's two different ways, two different like underneath statements in this.
Yeah, there's like, it's tough to read, you know, through the copy of what he's saying, but as a worker, there's almost like 3 different shots in it, you know. But I also don't like before the show saying Brock and I imagine it's more like a bar fight, very uncomfortable to watch, which I think will be cool to play down the camera to everybody at home. We can be smart about it. So now you think bigger picture. How can we make wrestling, or how can we make this interesting for everybody watching at home? That's the way I see our match. Like, you're talking out your match to a reporter before the match happens. Not a good look, in my opinion, dude. I don't like that.
I don't either. And it's funny because I just envision everything kind of having the broken universe type thing. I think they should have had Drew fly up to Brock's gym training facility. And if they have an octagon, they can work the entire compound, and then he can hit them with the Germans in the octagon and do wrestling moves there, but move it around in these different shots. I just don't understand why they're not trying. They're filming anyway. Why aren't you, if you're filming and there's no people around, why aren't you at least filming on location and getting the camera crew up while they can still fly to go to Edge's cabin and have a fight in the woods, to go to Brock Lesnar's training facility in Saskatoon or Minnesota or wherever he is and fighting there? Why not have, get clearance so 2 other people can fight on the beach in Tampa Bay or in the stadium, Raymond James Stadium, maybe just 2 people fighting through the stands.
Well, that'll be the last man.
That's the kind of cool stuff I hope they do.
Yeah, that'll be the last man standing, but they won't take it out of anything out of there. I would like to see Drew McIntyre show up at Brock Lesnar's and then Brock shoots him in the leg with a crossbow, and he feels bad about it, and then they just become good friends, and Brock nurses him back to health, and they train together.
Is that the tough to watch part?
Yeah, when he has to pull the fucking arrow out of his thigh, that's the tough to watch.
I just had an idea too. Why not like St. Augustine Beach, where I got married, and there's the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, and it's also in Orlando, I believe. Why not have friggin' Bray Wyatt and John Cena have their match there? Dude, there's so much you can do to where this is like the coolest, like most fucking crazy WrestleMania ever.
Field Museum.
Why not just go all the way?
Yeah.
What's
the Field Museum in Chicago would be an awesome place too.
Any place to go with the matches that you have. Why not have the cruiserweights do like when Crash did the 24/7 thing and go to like a Chuck E. Cheese's or have them doing flips and go into the balls and do all that stuff. Dude, if you're gonna go, just go all the way with it.
I agree. Because what we're going to get WrestleMania-wise is going to be so depressing. People, like, their image of it, dude, it's going to be bad unless you find some way to really movie it up. Go ahead.
Can I just, someone made a point, I think, on one of the Facebook things. I saw the Gargano Ciampa thing. I know we're going to probably get to that with the Killer Cross video. Somebody's like, why are these guys still using microphones with no crowds? Why aren't they just mic'd up with a lav mic for the thing and doing, it'd be so much real than doing this all the time. Instead, you have an extra hand to kind of talk, and it feels a lot more real if you don't have the NXT stick microphone. it's a really weird thing.
I agree with that. Totally. I think we brought that up. I can't remember on where. I don't know. So many shows.
It was another show because I don't believe we ever brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was with Silvio. WWE providing free access to a vast portion of the WWE network. WWE stepped up to help provide some free entertainment for wrestling fans around the world, with a vast portion of WWE network being free. WWE is giving fans plenty of content to watch. All past WrestleManias being made available, although it's worth noting that WrestleMania 36 will not be included.
Ooh, that was the Russo thing we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got all the Manias, SummerSlams, Royal Rumbles, recent episodes of Raw, SmackDown, every episode of Untold, the FCW story, and much, much more. So,
fuck them.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a bad idea because you got to sign up, right? And they give it away for free. Then when this shit's over, if you can retain even 10% of the new signups and they, get billed or whatever, they agree to get billed, well, then it's not that bad because they hit a ceiling of getting new content subscribers. And people are going to trim the fat on things like subscription models when they really need to rein in cash, in a time of being out of work. So to give it away is a good thing to thwart people from canceling,
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, because I tried to do this with NFL Game Pass. I didn't take it past this step. I thought they were just opening it up and I could didn't need to log in or anything. I could just access the videos.
Right.
They took me through the creation, the account creation process. It's
right.
like, okay. They want to send me emails or capture me for MailChimp or Constant Contact.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted my credit card information.
Right.
Does WWE want your credit card information? Are you going to be in a fight to try to get them? Because I Beachbody On Demand, I canceled it 6 days ahead, saved the chat transcript, and still lost a credit card dispute with American Express.
Really?
Well, goodbye on that, American Express. But do you see what I mean? If they're capturing credit card information, it's up to you in these uncertain times. I'll never get fucking tired of that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
In these uncertain times, to get I got to mark this on my calendar. I got to do this. You see what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Is it really truly giving it away for what's that?
Is it part of a greater credit card scam of? I don't know if you have to sign up as a new user to give that information in order to get the free stuff where they're not going to charge you until, then when we say we'll turn it on, we'll send you an email. And if you want to, then you can continue your subscription. Sure, that was sat around in a boardroom of new users, how do we capitalize on this? Sure, we're going to give them some value added stuff, but after it's all said and done, we've already got them logged in, signed up. We flip the switch. How many of them will go for a month before they realize it? 50%. What's the fall off from there? Boom, boom, boom. But in the end, we'll really have gotten 10% new subscribers, even though we'll have done shady business to get it done and get that over with. It's not about giving people anything away for free. It's all about information gathering and a grab and a subscription service to get new users that seems like a Trojan horse of goodwill, the Noble Edge effect, if you will. And,
there's no doubt that this is to prop up the stock with new subscribers.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Now, I tell the story from time to time. I worked with a company that had an app, still has an app.
Sorry, Sonic says they need the CC info when you sign up.
That's it right there, because it's much like an ETF at a gym. They'll forget they even have the Planet Fitness membership, and it's automatically coming out. When I worked for the company and we had the meeting, and I remember how sick I was, and it's a great business move, but how sick I was to my stomach when it was brought up that, hey, how are we going to handle people that get a 1 month or 3 month or 1 year subscription to the app for their workouts? Mm-hmm. And he was like, what do you mean? He goes, are we going to let these people know it's time to renew? And he goes, of course not. We're not going to flip that switch on to remind them. Let them remember it. And right. I was like, ooh, you're trying to be the most trusted whatever on the planet. And I didn't like that at all.
No,
They're not like that. Great business move, great thing, but really
exposing, yeah.
Goodwill, true, very how should I say, authentic goodwill. Goes, it might not go as far as those tactics, but it goes far enough for you and I, right?
Yeah, dude, that's the difference of being, fly by night and quality company and service provider versus greedy and money grab. And then some of us can sleep at night like that, and some of us can't. So that's, the business, you know how it fucking goes down.
I know. Dude, after 30 years of being a wrestler, why am I not constantly? I'm always constantly surprised and shocked in some ways that I just don't understand people. Nope. And this is a thing.
Well, never mind, because it's all moot. Because Sonic, he lied. He said, "No, I'm wrong. I have an account, and you can watch the stuff without the credit cards." He apologizes. So
I'm going to try to sign up and see.
Okay.
If WWE is doing that just to capture emails and be able to email you with deals or whatever, or when the new tier, that's perfectly fine. You're giving, your data is being mined anyway. So just get your free month or whatever. NFL Network does want the credit card information, which disappointed me very much because you're a how many billions of dollars a year? You know what I mean? You would have probably gotten more subscribers off of that than people like me going, oh, I mean, the whole financial system is fucked right now. And how soon till they hack the credit cards or the digital dollar, or my Morgan Stanley account went down for half a day.
Yeah.
Like no access to money. So like we said, we're kind of bringing up bigger life type of things than just wrestling, but it really is it's a very uncertain time.
Yeah.
Where you have to be careful. You have to be careful because now people are calling people saying, hey, we need your social security number and credit card because we're going to send your UBI check, and all these old people are fucking falling for it. Absolutely. Or because of the coronavirus, we got to send you money because you're out of work. Give us your social security number. Don't fucking do that. Please.
Dude, there's gonna be way more scams across the board, especially with this at home. So be wary of it, guys. Somebody else who's at home is Rey Mysterio. He's reportedly quarantined, pulled from WrestleMania. WWE superstar and Lucha Libre legend Rey Mysterio has been pulled from WrestleMania 36 and is quarantined at home, according to Smeltzer Seltzer. While details are scarce at this point, it's important to note that Mysterio is being pulled from the show absolutely does not mean that he has contracted COVID-19. WWE is being extremely cautious in these uncertain times with all talent and crew. And obviously individuals who are sick or showing any symptoms or should be self-quarantined as to not accidentally spread the disease. Meltzer Seltzer also confirms reports that Dana Brooke has been pulled from WrestleMania for the same reason. She was advertised for the six-pack challenge from the SmackDown Women's Championship. So
we speculated that before it was even announced with Russo, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
But they still refuse to acknowledge it. Well, they're pulled from the biggest event of the year, but they're just, they're not sick. There is no sick. It's just being pulled from it.
Being pulled from it, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano will end their rivalry in 2 weeks. Ciampa and Gargano will finally end their storied rivalry with one final match to take place in an empty building. Yes, I'm aware that technically every wrestler is currently competing in empty buildings. I mean, a different empty building. So there you go. Triple H returned to the NXT this Wednesday after the two nearly destroyed the Performance Center in recent weeks. Trying to get their hands on one another, the game was understandably livid and announced that he would find a location for them to end their saga once and for all. And if they don't, they'll both be fired from the black and yellow brand for good. That match will take place in just 2 weeks' time. Gargano vs. Ciampa was originally slated to be announced for NXT TakeOver Tampa, but with COVID-19 forcing the event's cancellation, WWE will instead be rolling out those matches over the next few weeks. The April edition, 8th edition show will feature a ladder match between 6 superstars: Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green, and one more to be decided, with the winner receiving NXT Women's Championship opportunity at some point in the future. I gotta see Bianca Belair probably. So they're going someplace else. Is it just over to NXT? Because that's their house or whatever instead of the Performance Center? Or is it going to, like, where else would you take that to do a final blow-off? It's got to kind of be at NXT at Full Sail.
I don't know, man. That's really weird. I mean, you may be banned. I mean, is it something? There's all this confusion over essential businesses or ones that should be open or even available to do anything with.
Yeah.
And in California, they're actually shutting the utilities off on non-essential businesses, like they're shutting water off. So I wonder if Florida is going to make that kind of move. It doesn't feel that way because they just recently shut down the beaches like a few days ago.
Well, how about that video we sent where they're trying to shut them down, and it's a full SWAT team pushing pepper spraying with paintball guns people off the beach, like whack, 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 like really unloading with the Tippmann 45s on them, dude. It was crazy.
I'm just wondering, like you said, takeover might happen, or maybe it won't. WWE is pushing us up to, I think, the insurance threshold.
Yeah,
we stick with that theory, right?
I think so. One thing we pointed out, if you're not a Russo brand subscriber, what the hell's wrong with you? But on the Raw SmackDown review, something that stuck out to me is they had the WrestleMania logo on either side on the entrance, and it said a week from Saturday. Like, instead of, they just announced it 2 nights, it should be April 4th and 5th, like hard dates, right? So they used very ambiguous language, a week from Saturday. Well, what if you watched Raw that following Sunday? And so it's a week from that next Saturday by any chance, So that was either a really dumb mistake or a very calculated thing to not lock themselves into any dates while they're on live TV because they still think it might get pushed to June. And the ambiguity of that seemed very much like a trump card for an insurance out.
I got another added on thing to that theory, though, that we missed. You ready for this?
What's that?
How many times, like 100% of the time up to this point, do they put up on the Titantron during matches or during anything? How many days until whatever pay-per-view?
Right.
15 days to WrestleMania,
40,
13 days to WrestleMania. That is not going up there. There's no bumper with the music.
That's true.
They've done that on for how many years? Almost like a decade and a half they've been doing that leading up to a pay-per-view.
Away. Yeah.
You're right. That leads more credence to the fact that they're pushing us to where Tampa Bay will try to shut it down.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised that Russo didn't catch that. And right on the heels of that, Orange County issues a stay-at-home order that may affect WWE plans. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings and Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer are expected to sign a stay-at-home order this week, as at least 50 cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in the county in just 2 weeks. The executive order will force the closure of all non-essential businesses and will effectively lock down citizens unless they're venturing out for food, supplies, or medical reasons. Local government is urging people to remain 6 feet away from each other at all times. Orange County is the home of both the WWE Performance Center and Full Sail University, where the company taped weekly NXT television up to the school closing earlier this month. The order is expected to go into effect this Thursday at 11 p.m. and last until April 9th. But the 2-week window is only the current standard and very well could be extended indefinitely depending on the containment of COVID-19.
That's the route.
So there's your 4th and 5th date. Now you're talking, are they really going to lock it down? Well, on the 4th and 5th, why would WWE crew and superstars be exempt from this? Now they've got 2 names to pass the heat on to.
Is there a putting smiles on people's faces exemption in the law?
I didn't read that in there. I'd have to go back and check the fine print. No, just
their out is becoming apparently clear with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a thought about that too. That it's just very odd. It's very odd that anything like the WWE is allowed to, AEW too, lump them in there with that. How they are allowed to travel, and it is a gathering. There's a locker room. Maybe they're social distancing or doing whatever, but it doesn't matter if one guy's a carrier and the other guy is potential to get sick and they're talking over their match, which trust me, they're they're not calling it in the ring at this point. This is
No.
not, I would like to see that. It'd be entertaining, but I wonder if what Botchamania is going to do with this. That would be interesting. I'm watching that. When's the new Botchamania drop?
Should be having a bunch of them. What did you say on the Killer Cross things? I didn't have that in my headlines. I heard some. Go ahead.
They had the face off with those guys, and I don't know if it was Hamin group. I saw it posted on Facebook, but they did a really, really good. Basically, it looked exactly like what Impact did with Killer Cross with the TikTok. It's almost, they didn't say Killer Cross. They didn't bring the name up. They had just his face going and doing different things. And that's how they closed the show out. And they faded to black.
On NXT, that's what they did.
NXT.
Who was in the ring?
Ciampa and Tommaso.
Oh,
so he might just run through both of them. He might be involved in this deal.
Okay.
But this is the stuff, looking at the vignette they did for Killer Cross, this is what they need to do for NXT, especially NXT. Lots of vignettes, lots of ways to the next 4 or 8 weeks or whatever. Everybody's getting vignettes. Everybody's getting sit-down interviews. You're getting to know the characters. It's a reboot on whatever, the retooling. You make a movie every week. You say you make movies, make a movie every week. While these guys filming 6 days a week or putting stuff in the queue or the can for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And now, when you do have crowds, everybody is over.
100%, dude. Especially with Killer Cross. The guy's a fucking walking box office draw.
That was Jimmy Paradise and Borash. That I could tell, by the way. It was shot on film.
I know.
It was done like, hey, can you talk I got to go for 2 minutes. I'll let you. I've been going enough tangents.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. That was probably almost definitely Paradise and whatnot, because I had talked to Cross and I had talked to Jimmy, and I know they were working on something. I'm not sure when it was going to premiere, but what they were working on is even bigger than just the little flash of what's been happening there. So I'm excited for all those guys, man. Cross has been very cool to me online and talk openly, especially when he was having troubles leaving Impact and TNA, and just how do you squeeze them for the money that they owe you, and especially during regime changes, and what he wanted to do. And obviously very like-minded. The guy's so goddamn smart and into every conspiracy, and you guys see what he does with his own production, just on another level. So to pair him with Paradise Jimmy, Kamikaze Kid in my life, it's Silvio, his ex-tag partner from Totally Awesome in an OVW, ended up becoming top director and top producer at OVW, and then obviously Broken Universe and everything he did at Impact for years. Kurt Angle stuff, when Kurt Angle was leaving, that was a lot of Jimmy too. So I'm glad they're all working together, because nothing but good's going to come out of that. Is Scarlett going to manage him? Asked 2K Benny. I don't think she is. I think Vince saw her and he wants her to be, I read, the next Alexa Bliss, sex kitten type thing. She can make it on her own. They don't need to be together. And I think Cross is a monster psycho heel, like that people are going to fall in love with in a Steve Austin way. But you don't want to tie the hot blonde to that character, because the hot blonde has to be a heel if he's going to be, and it's tough to make the hot blonde a heel that when everybody wants to bang her, and you're taking away the value. So let her be the new hot sexy thing, and I say keep Cross separate from her. And then down the road, if you want to expose and that they're together, or if they stay together, then you can do something. But I think they both have more value apart from each other kicking off. They're both could be stars out of the gate.
I agree with that. I don't think Killer Cross, that's a loner type gimmick. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't have friends. You don't have anybody that a normal person would have. They would do a disservice to just put another real couple together like they always do. It's not anything special at this point.
Right.
And if she's with a guy, with girls in the business, if it's like kind of like back, at least in my era, like a lot of the girls, like a Lillian Garcia, wouldn't wear a wedding ring, because there is a thing about that where you kill the fantasy if someone has a wedding ring on.
Yeah.
To most people that look, oh, they're married. Okay. But her thing is, if she looks available, every neckbeard or every wrestling fan might think they actually have a chance, and that's part of the fantasy, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Why you would tune them in.
2K Benny says, true, he's one lucky guy. I mean, she's hot, but she still farts and complains like all the rest of them, so I don't sell for that.
The Eddie Murphy line is the most famous line in his comedy act. Do you remember that?
I don't, off the top of my head.
Is it Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock?
It might be Rock. I'm not sure.
No matter how hot a girl is, no matter how much you might think she's perfect or anything like that, and I'm paraphrasing, there's a guy out there that got tired of fucking her.
I'm pretty sure that is Rock, but yeah. Exactly. The package might look nice, but it could be a worse set of problems than what you're already dealing with. WWE and Special Olympics sent the following announcement. Class is now in session. Special Olympics launches a School of Strength Fitness campaign in response to athletes' need for at-home workouts and partners with WWE superstar Becky Lynch to develop a series of peer-led workouts to inspire year-round fitness. So Becky Lynch is going to be working with the Special Olympics. She's going to help them with levels of flexibility, strength, balance, and endurance, and they're going to help her with her promos. So it's going to be a nice, trade-off for both organizations.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know.
How is she helping? Is she a certified fitness trainer, or
it just says engaging workout video series with her in the ring alongside 6 Special Olympic athletes. So she trains them in a series of exercises to achieve varying levels of fitness, including superstar trainer, champion trainer, and master trainer levels. Special Olympic athletes select to participate in this campaign and lead their fellow peers in exercises including Angel Athenas, Special Olympics New York, Beth Donahue from Massachusetts, Stephanie Ching from North Carolina, Vince Egan from Colorado, and Gerardo de la Cerda from Southern California, Greg Deemer from Southern California. So they got their crew of Special Olympic All-Stars, and they're going to be doing that stuff. Let's see what they're doing. Warm-ups include arm circles, leg swings, endurance exercises, including mountain climbers, jumping jacks, balance exercises, including leg lifts, half kneeling chops, strength exercises, including power push-ups, and super squats. I should not watch this because it's going to sound terrible, and I have plenty of, disabled and special needs people in my life as well, like we all do. But if you think I can't stop laughing at like stereotypical Asian stuff when they do that, you do not want to put Special Olympic people doing fucking squats and shit like that in front of me, dude. Like as a special thing, I can't watch.
No, I'm laughing more so because I believe that these people are going to correct her form, because they're the Special Olympics people, like, are powerlifting and doing. They have the strength. Sean Austin, I think, is their strength and conditioning coach at the Performance Center. Yeah. That's the guy that needs to be taken and showing how, dude, this is like 10-minute trainer Tony Horton style exercise. This is not specialized athletic shit.
But I'll say, dude, like
arm circles, I mean, they're not easy for the Nancy Browns to do, but you understand what I'm getting at. These athletes can go far beyond that.
She's also doing an extra special bonus feature of how to come out of the dark and hit your opponent with a chair when you're the baby face and get healed.
Well, that was my thing. When they're doing the power push-ups, is she's going to hit them with chairs and stuff and be the WWE 2020 baby face?
Well, she's going to win the Special Olympics. She's taking out all the top Special Olympic athletes. That's her whole plan, just like she took out Stone Cold.
Here's my fear with this type of baby face. They just can't help themselves sometimes. And I'm not saying that this is a great thing, and I wish that this would be a spot that I would have, or other fitness people would have.
This is I got my little rib joke in, but this is very smart. This is getting over with your partners. Like we just talked about, identify with their partners at Special Olympics. It's a charity event. When you have your superstar and bringing their stars into the ring together, that's synergy. And you're also saying, look, we're showing that there's nothing to be afraid of or look down upon here. And these athletes are kicking ass and inspiring at home. And if they can do it, you can do it. Like, it's win-win-win all the way across the board, dude.
if somebody produces it that way and directs her that way.
Sure.
But if they just throw her out there, I just fear, and this isn't a slight, this is wrestler mentality. Got to get myself over. That's my fear, that you focus, you come out with your fucking Elton John outfit or something. And you come out with your gimmick and you like, I do this and this is why I kick ass and I'm the man. And then instead of just, you're not the character, Becky Lynch. Now these are the stars that are with you.
Right.
And you put that over. I'm this or that, but man, I'm a wrestler on TV. I'm lucky. These are the real heroes to overcome stuff and be stronger than they're strong. I can't even lift it. Like, just be so humble and like bury yourself in a way.
Absolutely.
Comparing to them.
Absolutely, dude. You have to. And I think she can get it over that way, but a whole, whatever they're going to do, half hour of Becky being the voice of that, yikes, I don't know. We'll see. But I think they can. I think the premise of what they're trying to do there, very smart for everyone involved. Samoa
the execution might not turn out so well.
I agree. It looked good on paper. We'll hope it plays out on camera. Samoa Joe wellness policy update. Excuse me.
Do you ever think you'd read that headline?
Ben Hamin reporting wellness policy update. Samoa Joe's suspension from WWE has passed. Joe was suspended at the end of February for violating wellness policy. While unlikely due to current circumstances, this would mean that Joe is available to compete on any of WWE's pre-taped WrestleMania matches. WrestleMania is set to tape this week. So, everyone's forgotten, or what was even the reason why. I mean, no one's... My connection's unstable. All right, coming back. I mean, what's the reason why? Was it party drug? Was it weed? Was it, I don't think, gas, like a painkiller script that he didn't have, that had run out? Like, these ambiguous things that leave people wondering and question Joe's character and morality instead of just nipping it in the bud. Just fucking say it, boom, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, my cousin took Oxycontin once, got fucked up, whatever. Like, like everyone's going to do whatever to look down on him. But the longer you prolong these things and use this type of language, it shits on a guy more than it's like a quick slap and get over it,
I hate this so much because Vince, you and I have talked about comparing it to the NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever real sport. This takes credibility away from WWE, insults the audience, and lets them be like, I'm not even like, whatever. I'm not investing in this character because you don't care enough to tell me the truth. Or if he tested for weed, which Joe, I think, has been known to do that in the past. I've never seen it, but what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
The NFL just updated their marijuana policy with the CBA. So now you look, here's Russo's word. Now your policy looks so draconian in nature, comparing it to the NFL, which is draconian in its own way forever. So now you're doing that, and your XFL product wasn't testing for marijuana.
Right.
You don't even have any kind of level playing field that way. So now what we're forced to say is, if Joe had tested for marijuana and you have a marijuana policy, most people would be like, well, that policy's stupid. And I don't think any less of Joe because my wife is sick or my mom's sick and I fucking get her pot all the time in America, whatever. It's normalized. So now by the mystery, everybody thinks the worst.
Right.
Oh, he must have been fucking coked up out of his mind or taking pills or doing some kind of stupid shit instead of just coming out and saying it. WWE shoots himself in the foot. Andrade, what did he test for? Oh, obviously steroids because the guy's in shape. No, maybe the guy had maybe he's on TRT, TRT to help keep his testosterone level, and the prescription ran out and he was on the road. I'm just giving you different scenarios.
Sure.
My God.
Sure.
Don't fuck yourself up like this.
Every time.
The stupid fucking, there is no sick. Oh, we can't say this. We can't say, in these uncertain times. These are all examples of why this regime needs to be fucking replaced.
Yep. They just stuck on stupid when it comes to that fucking ego stuff, man. But, hopefully Joe can stay healthy. We saw him take that nasty bump off that dive. I don't know why. And then, shoulder was effed. So hopefully this time off and whatnot will help him get a fresh start, new gear. I'm hoping, we'll see.
They couldn't even lie and say that he didn't pass concussion protocol and protect him. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, hey, we just want to keep him out because that was a bad fall. He did pass, but man, like, we just want to make sure he's good. They can't even play, like, they can't even work themselves to be good guys and lie.
No.
It's so funny.
Access TV Total Nonstop Wrestling Special is still set for March 31st. So they're doing a throwback at Impact. It's going to be all TNA old school stuff featuring legends Scott Steiner, Hernandez, Kid Cash, Chase Stevens, and more. Tuesday, March 31st at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 10 p.m. Eastern. Holy shit. That's kind of
in bed for 2 hours.
I was thinking about doing a watch along if it was 8 to 10, but now it's starting at 10. We'll see. So they're going to keep doing that TNA throwback. They had a funny sketch this week with Rosemary in the bar, which didn't really go with last week's, but you can listen to the Impact Attack to hear more about that. But you hear a voice at the end of the bar, and it's Raven, and he talks about his feud with Dreamer in a funny way for 20 years. And I had a feeling that's what they wanted you for, to come over there, maybe to be in that bar scene with them when they were shooting in Atlanta.
Well, no. They didn't want me. Swinger just said to come hang out and visit friends.
I think everything over there is like, let's visit friends and write an angle around it, dude.
Nah, Swinger would just say, dude, they don't say anything, but they want you to come over and shoot this thing.
Right. Well, I could have seen you. Like, the way they revealed this, if I was directing it, and I would have done it different off of last week's, but the way it was, and she sees him, he does his monologue, and then he peels off. Remember I told you about the ABC character?
Yeah.
You would have been the perfect C character in this, in the reveal, because she's talking, bitching about whatever it was with Taya, or the undead and Taya. And then somebody says something. There's a guy in the middle who's not the guy who says it. She talks shit to. He's like, I didn't say it. And he gets out. And then she walks down. Then it's her and Raven in the shot. And they do their comedy bit. And then Raven leaves. And then they could have gone to you for one last final line and had you in the shot as just like a whatever, wait for me or whatever. Something along those lines where you say that and then walk off. There's just that heightening. When I talk at an improv scene of heighten and explore, that would have been a good, like, shift to the camera. You think you got it, and that's the end of the scene. One more little extension for the big fucking punch at home of, let's talk about all of wrestling from EC to, because Raven was talking about his wars and his legacy, and it's gone on for 20 years. Not showing you and then just showing you would have driven that home visually that much more,
Well, here's the I think that's great, and thank you. I mean, that would have been great, but here's the wrestling part of it. Raven or Dreamer, whoever, and not anything bad, but would they have wanted me to be the last shot? Because in wrestling terms, that's the most over thing at the end, and the last line and the last shot on. You see what I mean? For you, it's just an Easter egg. For you, it's an Easter egg.
Here's the thing. At any other place, I would say yes. Or I would say no, they wouldn't. Like, if it's for WWE for the time and I'm the star. On Impact right now, they know, they're the only ones who know that their audience is small, of diehard wrestling fans who've been watching for 30 fucking years, 40 years straight. It's not new fans coming to watch them. So they're playing to those wrestle crap moments. They even went off the air this week with James Mitchell in this a thing that was very, like, tongue-in-cheek in the dark world, where Su Yung is going to stab him, and then Havoc stops her, takes the knife. And then he's like, oh, thank you, Havoc. Yeah, I can always trust you. And then Havoc stabs him. They close in on his face. He's like, oh, he goes, who booked this shit? And that's how they ended the show. So they're not afraid right now to take stabs at the legacy of wrestling and play to my generation, your generation, who are the only ones that are really watching, who will get those really fine, points like that. So I see your point exactly. In some companies at a certain peak in time, you'd be thinking that way, but
It's
right
not
now,
the companies, it's the talent that's
Yeah.
trying to get themselves over and get in that spot.
right.
That's all I mean. I mean, you can't blame them for it, but I didn't want to put myself in that position, even if they said that. Like, I'd be a little tempted, but in the same way, I get the throughout my career, because I never fight. Had the discussion through Facebook Messenger yesterday. I don't want to do the political maneuvering or the political fighting and battling. I just want to go do my job, get my money, and go home.
Right.
I can do the best work I can without the distractions of maneuvering. The whole thing here is I've always fallen victim because I never come back and say, hey, fuck you, motherfucker. I always get the like, oh, it's just Stevie. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this and that. And they would probably say to me, hey, you're like the third or maybe the least known guy here. Like, even the Impact people are probably bigger stars than you. That's what would be said to me directly to my face, not meaning anything
Right.
or anything malicious. But in my mind, it's just like I've chose to keep myself from even putting myself in those situations or having a chance of them happening
Right.
a long time ago. I need to move forward. Like you said, surround yourself by the people that lift you up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying they put me down, but it's back in that trap of you're not enough of a phony wrestling star to carry this scene.
Yeah, I get it. I just think you would have been the perfect in that spot.
Because you're thinking of it the right way, creatively,
Right.
not stupid wrestling.
No, no, I'm never thinking that way of like who's spotting, who's got the weight there. No, I always think if we're paying respect to history, isn't that another nice little heighten and explore in there? And I also think if you and I weren't as close of friends as we are, and I was trying to do that, pull that same move, and I knew I had Swinger and I got Raven, I go, Swinger, do you think you can get Stevie to come over and be in this fucking scene and with us not having to pay him? Just tell him he's going to come fucking hang with the boys. And then when you got there, I'd be like, all right, we're going to get this scene set up. Hey, Stevie, would you do one line in this for me quick and put you in it and get it and then try and have it in the can? If our relationship wasn't what it was and I was a producer trying to still pay respect and get my creative over, when I heard about that, I was thinking that's what I would have done to try and get it over.
But Swinger would have clued me in. Going back to that, he would not have completely. He was like, "Hey, kayfabe this, but they want you in this. They want you in this thing."
Right.
And he goes, "You could probably get some bookings out." He would try to convince me, like, "Hey, you probably get some bookings, or maybe people would look at your programs or get an eye on that. All you got to do is show up, do the one line. You don't even have to stay for the rest of the night."
Right on.
And believe me, I would. I would show up 5 minutes before they were shooting, do it, and then go home.
Well, if I get the chance to direct it someday, maybe I will, buddy. But Impact, unfortunately, TNA, their show on the 31st is going to stay up, but Impact officially cancels their April pay-per-view and TV taping events as a result of the coronavirus outbreak. Against all odds, on April 17th in Toronto and then April 19th Rebellion pay-per-view in New York City's Terminal 5 and April 24th and 25th tapings in Columbus, Ohio are monitoring they're canceling those. They're monitoring the situation closely and looking at alternative ways they can produce the events. All tickets will be fully refunded from point of purchase. To the safety of our fans, talent, and staff, and utmost importance, we'll continue to adjust plans as necessary while delivering as much Impact Wrestling as possible. They win again this week because everyone wants to rib and be like, oh, they're third brand because they tape and they don't go live and they're not this, that, the other. Well, all your major brands are reminding you that you're living in a pandemic and there's no crowd and they want to push this show that everything's normal, but you fucking can feel it that everything is not normal. There's nobody in the crowd. The wrestling feels weird. We're getting throwbacks. Flip on Impact. Oh shit. We taped for 5-6 weeks and we're good to go. And there's normalcy in the crowd. It's very, exciting after watching the other. So, Impact is up. And I heard somebody stooge in a chat room earlier, it could be disinformation, but they heard Dreamer say they have 5 more weeks of TV in the can. So, that's when they were in Atlanta. They were doing stuff from Vegas, but I got to believe that the Raven thing had to have been shot in Atlanta. I don't think they flew him to Vegas for that.
No. They filmed at least a month or so worth of TV right around the corner from me, so that makes you feel better that I was
Right.
literally I could walk to the building they were doing it at.
Well, I mean that they have all those weeks then, so we'll get another whole month of Impact with a crowd where everybody else looks like the end of days and shit on there, man. That'd be awesome too if you just took the dog for a walk and just kept walking in backgrounds of scenes and stuff like that, and never you're like, was that Stevie? No, it's just some guy walking his dog.
I think that. Do you think this is going to change the model going forward, that they are going to film? They're going to go back to the old school way because they might see that Impact is like, is live TV as important now as just having the content and the cue that you need, and maybe changing it to a movie style production?
Why
And
do we really
completely,
have live TV? It's so they can't, so the dirt sheets can't stooge results.
well, they're filming 2 finishes for every match at WrestleMania, so why not film 2 finishes? Why not have it be a movie? Why not have an episodic sitcom type of series?
Right.
Why not have 3 hours of Raw where each hour is its own little universe of a show?
Why not?
What do you got to lose? Your ratings are going down no matter what.
1.7 in the third hour this week. 1.7 million, Stevie. The second lowest in the history of Monday Night Raw this week.
But they probably look at the coronavirus as a blessing because now they have an excuse for months of why they don't need to have a good product.
As opposed to now's the time where we could all be on digital meeting all day long. Nobody's in the car. Let's really write a year. Let's say we're going to get back to business June 1st. And how do we write a true year epic the whole way through instead of lying and saying we do it and booking it that afternoon? MLW signs a new television deal in Poland. MLW announces new Poland TV deal. MLW Ski. No, I'm kidding. Major League Wrestling has entered into a new partnership to broadcast MLW's flagship show Fusion in Poland starting this spring. MLW program will air on Fight Club Poland. Fight Club is a unique TV channel entirely dedicated to martial arts, available in the largest cable television networks in Poland. Shit, I want that. The deal will bring original MLW programming to a new country, with Poland quickly becoming the biggest combat sports market in Europe. I like that, dude. Poland would be it's not a place people think about like, oh, let me go work in India in Poland. You know, that could be a good spot for people. I'm glad to hear that, you know. You liked MLW Ski, didn't you?
Well, it's a market they haven't touched yet. And, Germany was a pretty great, place for indies. They have to shut it down, obviously, too. But I liked working in Germany. There's places, Scotland would be another place. There's places that you don't have to really tour, like outside of that country. You can go through cities and stuff. Do the old Otto Wands, and I remember Bradshaw was talk about it. Fit Finley. They would run the carnival shows 7 days a week. Like you would run, just when the carnival's in town, you would just run a show every night, and they would live there for like months. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to try it for a week or two. That'd be dope, man. I actually got to get a hold of Alpha Female, Jazzy Gabert, even though her stuff's canceled. I do want to work with her over there in Germany. I think we could do
Germany is one of my, I don't like, you know how much I like to travel, almost as, probably more so than Russo in a lot of ways. Germany, though, would be one place that I would definitely like to go to because when I was there, it was very Americanized. It felt great. The people were nice. The gyms were good. Everything was a positive. I'll give you a story. You remember Outlaw Ron Bass?
Oh, yeah.
Passed away a while back. I remember meeting him scared to death. Like I remember grew up, like one of the few times you're around somebody that you grew up watching. He's an old cowboy type guy. He looks miserable. He looks so miserable. And I was sitting there with him, and we got in the night before. The Nasty Boys were there, which was a whole nother level of stress, but they were super cool. So it was weird. It was like everything I expected didn't happen.
Right.
Ron Bass was there. I'm sitting there and I'm nervous, and I could probably tell. So I had like pictures of my cat at the time, looking through the pictures and, looking at everything. He's like, oh, you have a cat? And I go, yeah. And I thought he was going to be completely, he goes, oh, yeah, we got like 5 indoor and 7 outdoors we feed and all this stuff and everything. And I looked at him, I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Talking to many, naming them all and talking about all that stuff. I was like, that's cool. Then somehow it came up where we both love Star Trek. I don't know how it came up. Because then, like, all of a sudden, I was talking about something, with a fan about Star Trek, and I turned to Outlaw Ron Bass, and he goes this. He does the Vulcan thing. And then he starts talking about, like, do you like, original TOS? Do you like TNG? He started using all the, dude, this guy, I talked to him up until, like, not long before he died. And I get a little emotional talking about it because this was one of the legends and one of the old timers that I truly connected with. And if I had known he was in the hospital, so his passing wasn't like, it was sudden, and I don't know if it was unexpected, but this was a guy that worked and did a lot of missionary work, did a lot of good charity work, never put himself over, and was just a good guy. And it just was like, I don't know where I'm going with it.
And a monster heel, right?
Like monster heel, but I had a monster heart too at the same time. And I don't know where I was going with all that, but that's stuff that, like,
it's great.
It's just super cool. It was one of the few times I put up a social media post, like at the anniversary of his death, or it was like a throwback thing where the picture came up on Facebook. And I said, I got to pay this guy respect. And I put up the picture of both of us doing the Vulcan thing.
That's cool.
In Germany. It's been Germany. It gives me fond memories of Germany where I want to go back and remember those things, because we don't have many in the business that we cling on to.
Right.
And that's a big one for me up until today.
And Germany also known for their hard lemonades too. So you can go back there and
well, yeah. I mean, screw Ron Bass. I'll go back for
some interesting Star Wars or Star Trek talk last night. Like, Cody was on commentary last night and with Shivani, and they're going back and forth talking about Star Trek captains while Omega and Guevara are in the ring killing each other, dude. I was like, what is going on here, bro? It was very not the right time. If I went home, watched my match and had that and like and heard that, I'd be like, dude, what are you guys talking about that shit during my match, bro?
Do you think those conversations no, I didn't see it. But
well, there was they got everybody out of the empty arena. So when Guevara's down there, he's got on the chairs these caricatures of like Brandy's face, other people's. Then one just says Captain, and it's like a Star Trek caricature. And they're like, I'm not sure who that is and whatnot. And, like, and then they start talking about Star Trek captain. I was like, what the fuck? There's a match going on.
So was it, my question is, because I assume it was it just like the ribbing on commentary, or just like completely disconnected commentary from the match?
Yeah, it was disconnected, dude. It was a strange thing. And even to have Cody out there on commentary when he's a top guy and like having to commentate on angles that, you know, he's not involved in, but he shouldn't be like even talking about it because he's too big of a star in the company. Like he needs his little window and then he needs to go away, right? Like he's not a middle player to be like passing judgment on bigger angles, because his character's so big he would have to get up and do something. And the fact that he doesn't marginalizes him into commentary. I don't know. It's weird. It just doesn't work as well this week. You can feel they're starting to jump the shark big time on whatever we could do in empty arena wrestling. You got another week and it's done.
What do you think the conversations are happening in this era and these kinds of people, you know, because I know if somebody commentated like that and I didn't, well, first of all, somebody would stooge it off because we all have the little factions in the locker room. One of my boys would be watching it and say, hey, dude, these fucking guys were like not even talking about your match on commentary.
Exactly. They would be doing that, dude. And as soon as we hit the car, I'd be like, let me see when we get home. And then the next week at OVW, I'd pull somebody aside and be like, dude, when I'm in the ring, you talk about me.
Yeah. And maybe because it's Cody, everybody's going to be like, oh, dude, I love Star Trek too. And I don't care if I was dropped on my head 12 times, no, fuck, give me a break, man. this is where there has to be somebody enforcing something in the locker room, like a real enforcer that goes like, "Hey guys, you can't fucking do that."
If
Or,
only they had an enforcer there.
I mean, this is the one time where a bully might be a fucking good thing to have there.
I mean, he doesn't have much to do now. The Waffle House is all closed. Did you see that? They're closing all the Waffle Houses.
Talking about Arn.
Yeah. He's the
Yeah, but
enforcer, and he had last week on commentary, that little sheet of paper that he has, someone, Jericho said that's a Waffle House menu that he's got, the laminated thing. It popped me big, dude.
it might actually be too.
I didn't know if you
Arn's,
heard that.
dude, everybody there, Arn and Dean and all those guys, they're collecting a check just like they were in WWE. It's just the stress level and how they probably are already giving feedback. JR put it out there on his podcast. I give the feedback I give, and they can do with it what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that kind of what he said?
Yeah. Pretty much at this point is like, you damn kids, you know, I can only tell you so many times you're going to apply it or you're not going to apply it.
I bet you after a while, JR, when he's asked about anything like that, he'll say, check clears. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
Check clears, boys.
Final story of the day, Stevie.
Who?
Vince McMahon, pal. Yeah, me. Oh, it's about me. All right. Vince McMahon provides cash infusion to WWE. WWE announced through their corporate website that the chairman and chief executive officer, Vince...
You got to stop for a second. Did Cody really brag about picking out the cloth they used to cover the guardrails too? That's what the chat room just said. Is that like, is somebody going to be talking about fucking covers on the guardrails while I'm getting dropped on my head in an empty arena? Sorry.
Dude, yeah, I might have missed it, but I after that, I might not doubt of what it is. I hadn't watched the whole show yet, so...
Silent heat, if anything, after that. Oh, yeah, cool. Hey, man.
Yeah.
That's it for like ever.
Good to see you, bro. Yeah, I should have picked out our guardrail covers. God damn it. WWE announced through their corporate website that Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon entered into a prepaid forward contract to transfer approximately $3.5 million worth of Class B stock. A move designed to infuse WWE with liquid assets. Essentially, WWE gets the money in exchange for McMahon trading the equivalent shares at a later date. McMahon will retain voting and dividend rights through his measure. This is pertaining in full. On March 24th, 2020, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Mr. McMahon, chairman and CEO, entered in a variable prepaid forward contract with an unaffiliated bank, the bank covering approximately 3.5 million shares of the company's Class B common stock. The variable prepaid toward the contract is scheduled to settle on specific dates in March of 2024, at which time the actual number of shares of the company's Class A common stock to be delivered by Mr. McMahon will be determined based on the price of the company's Class A common stock on such dates, with the aggregate number not exceeding approximately 3.5 million shares, which is the number of shares of Class B common stock pledged by Mr. McMahon to secure his obligations under the contract. Subject to certain conditions, Mr. McMahon can also elect to settle the variable prepaid forward contract in cash and thereby retain full ownership of the pledged shares. Mr. McMahon entered into the variable prepaid forward contract to provide current liquidity while allowing him to maintain voting and ordinary dividend rights in the stock, as well as the ability to participate in future stock price appreciation during the term of the contract and thereafter if Mr. McMahon settles the variable prepaid forward contract in cash. The shares covered by the variable prepaid forward contract represent approximately 4.5% of the company's total outstanding shares of Class A and Class B common stock. The variable prepaid forward contract does not apply to the approximately 25,198,344 other shares of Class B stock, common stock beneficially owned by Mr. McMahon. Those shares represent approximately 70.5% of the company's total voting power. The variable prepaid forward contract contains a 60-day lockup restricting Mr. McMahon's ability to sell or transfer additional shares of the company's common stock during such a period without the bank's prior approval. Mr. McMahon has informed us that he intends to continue his capacity as the company's chairman and CEO for the foreseeable future.
Please break that down. That's a lot.
So there's two classes of stocks, Class A, Class B.
The firefighters found that out.
Yeah. So of the Class B 25 million shares, only 4.5% of what he's leveraging. So 4.5% of 10 million shares would be 450,000. So 225 of that is for 900,000 and another half. So 1.1 million shares of the $25 million Class B stock is leveraged for cash. In 2024, he's leveraging of what it'll be worth value-wise. If he can pay them out in cash, they won't take ownership of it, of the 3.5 million they gave him now based on that. So he's leveraging whatever the value of that will be versus this liquidity payout. And he has up to 2024 to pay it back of whatever that 4.5% is worth. So they're gambling that the stock price will go up because they're giving him money now because of the massive crash. So if he doesn't come through at that time and or he's dead, maybe then they just take over that X amount of what it is. And they're 1.1 million if it's of those 25,000 B stock shares. If we're now at $30, what if it doubles in that time? So that just on rebound alone. So the way it reads to me with all of the, Class B common stock contracts, like whatever language you want to put it in, at the end of the day, he needs $3-4 million for liquidity to pay his nut, whether it's vendors that got to be paid off because WrestleMania is a bust, whether it's keeping payroll going in Stanford and for on the road, like quick cash influx to keep. It's like a petty cash move for him.
That's man, he cashed in on so much. Like, this is a guy that put $300 million in the XFL cash, like cashed in stock. And now he's doing a move that sounds like somebody that just did buybacks like the airlines and didn't have cash on hand at all. Like, you figure Vince, like in his pocket could pull out $3 million, like, or charge it to his card or do something to get like, boom.
The funny thing is the header on this threw me because it's him with posing down with the handshake with one of the Saudi royals. So I was like, did he go to the fucking Saudis when I clicked on this? But instead he's doing a fucking Wall Street.
Yeah,
now
but
you see
didn't
me,
the
now
Saudis
you don't.
just give them tens of millions of dollars when they held everybody hostage? Isn't there
50 million
an influx of what happened to the Fox money? This is, dude, I think he's doing what I talked about with Extreme Rising, where they
Kenyon blew it all on goddamn Pornhub subscriptions. He bought all the top ones, but it was worth it.
I think that what he's doing is, I mean, surely if he's paying the talent, he's not paying them much. He'll pay them all like fucking 10 grand for WrestleMania each, maybe that. But you see what I'm saying? Like, if you have insurance for WrestleMania and you're going to get the $75 to $80 million because you're not going to run the show, why are you? This is strange. This is like you're $1 billion company and you're taking out. It's like me. I have cash here on hand. I have other things. And it's like me asking to borrow $10 from you. It's like, why would I borrow $10 from you when I have much or should have much more cash on hand? It's very, very strange. Unless he has no, like you said, he's going to be dead and whatever. And who gives a fuck? Or I'm going to sell it to Disney or the Saudis. And I don't care.
Right.
That's just cash I need right now.
Yeah, it's just a strange move, man. But
this is like going to a pawn shop type move.
It is. It's pretty much what it is, dude. In a bigger way. I just pop for the fact that there's a Class B stock, shug, not no Class A stocks. But at the end of the day,
we joke about the over and the jobber stuff. There really is.
There is a jobber.
We had no idea. They're like, fucking firefighters.
We did have one more story. Actually, watched it, 2-part series. lo and behold, I guess Chris Benoit did it. He killed his family, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Not to spoiler alert, yeah, but
well, I mean, according to Hornswoggle and many other people who knew him, it didn't add up.
it doesn't add up. And the way they tell it is very cut and dry. And there's things that they leave out in the timeline. They don't tell the timeline the way that the Horseman shows have covered it from the people we've heard it from. Jericho is great in it. Chavo, I think, gives him a peace of mind that he needs to some degree even now. But what they're doing with, and I forget it, Chris Benoit's son, the one who's still, wants to be a wrestler and whatnot.
David?
Yeah.
Is it David?
I don't know, man. Like, I think it's a bad, it's not gonna end right. If this kid gets in the business and people start putting him over just because off of this. And that's really what I can see a fuck ton of shit heel, hungry indie promoters who just want to have this dude on the show. They'll pay him. His head will get into a wrong spot and it's not going to end how it should. He should be away from the business, bro.
Well, according to him, he did an interview with that guy who likes to get chopped by people at the wrestling school. I forget his name. He said he had a great job, had maybe a great job at the oil rigs.
Yeah,
in Canada, and he was making really, really good money, but he's getting into wrestling. That was.
I mean, it'll be him and Brian Pillman's kid together. I mean, how could you not do it? But that's the problem.
Well, at least Brian Pillman's kid looks like he has somewhat of a body, and he looks somewhat like a wrestler. David reminds me of Chris before he started doing all the stuff that Chris did. Like how soon till he's
exactly
blown
that's
up.
what I'm saying. And the psychological chasing father's approval and all, dude, it's not gonna end good. There's no psychiatrist or
business. Wrestling's not the business to be in for any kind of. It's a total mind fucked on normal people, and we're not normal, and we have trouble with it. But somebody that might be. This is a scarlet letter if there ever was one, on a kid. It doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve it, and no one's stopping him from being like, dude, I know you love it, but let me tell you the end game here, and like. You're never going to be as over as your dad was, and now your dad's legacy is gone forever. Just hearing your name, I understand you want to do it, and what we really are doing here is dealing with our psychological issues in a way we shouldn't be. And it's not healthy for you to do that. And at the end of the day, people are going to use you up, wear you out, and you don't have the passion already or the time that it took to your dad to get to those heights. So, and no one's going to pat you on the head in the approval that you're looking for from your father to bring him back. Let's deal with those issues in a more healthy way, because wrestling in front of some marks who want you to bump out so they can get a fucking selfie with you for their Instagram is not going to solve your psychological issues of the terrible tragedy that's happened in his life. So if to me, like Jericho and Chavo really shine in this, but if it was me and I was either of them, I would say you're not getting in the wrestling business, dude. This is going to fuck you up worse than it's going to heal you.
He's got like 2.9 strikes against him because there's no way he'll ever get the WWE with the Benoit name.
No.
There's no way they'll ever tell the story. There's no way they'll ever do any of this stuff. Now, should they in a way? Kind of, because it is story-wise, no matter what it is, it's something that humanizes them as a company to even acknowledge it. Like, this is what we did. This is what we had to do. We shouldn't make this kid pay for it. We should give him a fair opportunity. You talk about the Noble Edge effect. That's kind of like, man, that's kind of cool that they won't judge him on that. It's that poor, you talk about a fucking sympathetic baby face. If you really wanted to know if this could be something to be done. Creatively, ethically, I would not want him anywhere near the business.
Product would have to
Purely
be 100
creatively-
times higher, though. Like the quality of work that they're doing to present that, they're way down here. It would have to even be up here to even start to handle that.
It would have to be minimum Dark Side of the Ring type Vice documentary style stuff. Minimum. Then the bell rings. What do you get when you're comparing them to a monster, no pun intended, of Benoit? I talked to my wife. I showed her some of the match we had on Heat. I go, I have never in my life been hit so hard. I've never been actually thrown off. You can watch it on YouTube. It's from Sunday Night Heat. I've never been hit so hard. I've never been thrown off, and you can see it on my face, that I wasn't prepared for that type of, and he got angry during the match because he wanted to be kind. I was trying to throw psychology and be a heel, and he just wanted constant, and I knew my body couldn't take it.
Right.
It was a very weird match, and you could see it on my face that I was like, whoa. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with what he did or any of that. No, I think he's just such an intense guy. Is this kid able to bring that intensity into the ring while not having a talent like me turn around and go, never again. I never want to work this fucking guy again.
Right. Plus, I mean, body-wise, he's going to be compared to his dad. I mean, aside from face.
That's what I mean. He's going to have to go down the same road if he wants to look like him.
Right. So, it's an intense piece, man. The way Vice cuts their stuff up, absolutely. And, they did decent work with talking to the sheriffs and the family and whatnot. But it doesn't match up with some of what the boys have said in the locker room of questions of why weren't answered. And they'd even touch on that he was paranoid going to the arenas and home different way in part 1, but that's as far as they leave it. There's nobody following him. Who else was he involved with locally? There's talk of some mobsters or guys like that.
Wow.
That's not in there. None of that's in there. So watch it. And I think it's done very well. But then check out the Horseman episodes on the Benoit stuff that we just have some questions of what if, and they were glossed over here. And that makes me further, as a conspiracy theorist, go, well, they're trying to tell a certain narrative and they're leaving out some what ifs that people we know and respect have questions on, and they're not answering them. So, but yeah, man, I actually got to watch first hour AEW so I can come back here with MSG and Chris Silvio and do that for you guys in about another hour, man. So we'll be back here live at 11. Stevie, thanks for waking me up this morning to get out here. Finally, I think right here at the end of the show, waking up Friday locker room wise, man. I'll get some coffee going through me and then hit a good workout after I'm done recording, man.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I know we kind of went long in the beginning about stuff that had nothing to do with wrestling, but a lot to do with life. But this is also something for many independent wrestlers, rather than starting GoFundMes, which you can do whatever you want in this world, in this society. But how much more empowering would it be while you're still kind of wrestling, whether you're on TV or not, to try to expand your horizons and maybe using your brand to do other things? Using wrestling to your advantage rather than wrestling using you to their advantage.
Absolutely.
The battle between the promoter and the wrestler is going on forever. Maybe this is the time to start evening the odds a little bit and taking your own destiny in your own hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. And we're here to help support and say yes and your ideas. And maybe if you're stuck someplace, an outside voice would be just easy enough to say, push you in the right direction. So be creative, use this time. Don't just binge on Netflix constantly and fill your face. Stay active as you can inside, exercising. I know in some cities they're saying they're going to arrest people in Chicago if they're out exercising on the ban and shit. So why fuck around? I mean, do your thing. You guys know what's up. We're going to be here, hackerhamin.podbean.com, twitch.tv/conspiracyhorseman, russosbrand.com, Master Shoot Theater. I'm actually going to watch that today too. I know we had a lot of fun while it was going on, and I think the shows that I can't really remember are usually the best ones, and I feel that way about this last week, so I'm going to go back and watch that too. So make yourself up some Russo Bro coffee from thebrosters.com. Check out all the shows and go follow the War on Morons podcast at .podbean.com, infidels. Hacker Hamin, Big Stevie, Cool Commandant, the Friday Locker Room. Get out there, go set up the ring, tear it down again just because you need to practice, infidels. YOLO.